most people think networking is about being extroverted.
Wrong. The most connected people I've ever seen and I've ever met were actually introverts. They were calm, they were quiet, and they were quite observant. Look at my colleague, Manat. He's quite connected. They're not the loudest in the room, but they're very connected. And honestly, that realization completely changed my life because when I first started trying to enter high-level rooms, I had absolutely nothing. No billionaire family, no elite network, no famous last name, no safety net. I was an outsider. And somehow I still ended up in rooms with hedge fund managers, government ministers, celebrities, founders, family offices, and people moving hundreds of millions of dollars. Not because I was the smartest guy in the room, not because I was the richest, because I learned the psychology of people. And once you understand that, one conversation can literally change your life. The person who taught me the most about networking was an introvert. Now listen carefully, because most people completely misunderstand introversion. An introvert isn't weak. They're not socially awkward. They're not antisocial. They simply lose energy from social interactions. That's it. Think of it like a social currency. An introvert wakes up with 5 coins. Every interaction costs 1. An extrovert, every interaction gives them another coin. That's the only difference. Some of the most powerful leaders in this world are introverts. And the man who changed my life was exactly like that, Dr. Winston Chan. This man's network was unbelievable. I'm talking world leaders, government officials, family offices, founders, executive, people operating on levels I didn't even know existed. And the craziest part, he never looked like he was trying. Every time I mentioned something I was working on, he'd calmly say, "Oh, I know someone." And every single time he actually did. No ego, no performance, no fake flexing, just let me connect you. That's real power. Not social media followers, not rented watches, or not pretending to be important. Real influence is the ability to move people, connect people, open doors. And what shocked me the most was this. He wasn't loud. He wasn't working the room. He wasn't dominating conversation. He was calm, present, observant. And somehow, he was the most connected person in almost every room. When I first started attending events, I felt completely out of place. I'd walk into rooms where everybody already seemed connected, executive talking to investors, people laughing together, relationships already built. And I remember standing there thinking, what manual did everybody get that I didn't? And I came to Canada young. My family struggled financially. I experienced racism. I experienced rejection. I genuinely didn't know and I didn't think I belonged in certain rooms. But eventually I realized something. Nobody was going to invite me in. I had to walk in anyway. That changed everything. Because confidence isn't something you're born with. Confidence is built through repetition, through uncomfortable conversation, through rejection, through walking into rooms before you feel ready. That's how transformation happens. The first thing you need to do is completely redefine networking because most people hate networking. And honestly, I don't blame them. Most networking events are terrible. Everybody's fake, smiling, everybody trying to look important, everybody's handing out business cards like Pokemon cards. Nobody actually cares about each other. It's transactional, desperate, forced. That's not networking, that's performance. If an event has the word networking written in giant letters, there's a very high chance it's the worst room you want to be in because everybody entered is trying to take. Very few entered trying to build. Real networking happens indirectly. That's a secret nobody tells you. Conferences, industry dinners, charity gala, leadership programs, golf clubs, fashion events, Formula One weekends, private dinner, gyms, art events, a place where there's already something happening. Because when people stop trying to network, they finally become human. That's where real relationship happens. Okay, I've had random conversations completely change the trajectory of my life. One event led me into a conversation with ambassadors, hedge fund managers, and executives running billions of dollars companies. Another random dinner put me beside Thierry Dassault, part of one of the most powerful families in Europe. Another conversation led me to people managing family offices and capital at levels I used to think only existed in movies. And none of those opportunities came from pitching myself. That's important. I wasn't desperately trying to sell to people. I was connecting naturally. People underestimate rooms, massively underestimate them. One room can change your entire future. One conversation, one introduction, one relationship. That's all it takes. Now, once you're inside the room, make it easy for people to approach you. And no, I don't just mean dressing well. You should already be doing that. I mean, give people an opening. Wear something slightly interesting, a watch, a jacket, something clean that creates curiosity. You're not dressing to impress. You're dressing to start conversations. And then do something most people are terrified to do. Make the first move. Not a pitch, not a 20-minute conversation, just, hey, how are you? I'm Zin. That's it. Short, natural, and confident. Then leave cleanly. Great meeting you. I'm going to grab a drink. Simple. And when you come back later, now they recognize you. Now you're familiar. Now you're no longer the outsider. Does that make sense? The people who stand out ask better questions. That's it. I remember being at an event, talking to a founder building a skincare company. Most people were trying to tell him about themselves. I asked him, what's the hardest part right now? And he immediately opened up. He said, credibility. He needed medical authority behind the brand. I happened to know a plastic surgeon looking for opportunities outside the clinic. I introduced them that night. No commission, no hidden angle, nothing in it for me. I simply just listened. And both of those people have gone out of their way for me ever since. That's influence, not manipulation. Okay, here's something most people never understand about powerful people. Everybody around them wants something. Everybody's pitching, performing, trying to impress them. After a while, they become numb to it. So when somebody finally asks a real question and genuinely listens, it stands out immediately. I was 24 years old, walking into rooms with people I had absolutely no business being with. People far ahead of me, financially, socially, professionally. But I asked questions that showed I understood their actual problems, not just their status. And suddenly, their entire energy shit changed. That wasn't charisma. That was attention. That was presence. That was listening while everybody else was performing. And after the conversation, follow up. This is where almost everybody fails. Don't send, great meeting you, boring, forgettable. Reference something specific they said. You mentioned you were solving X. You mentioned you were interested in Y. Something. That proves you actually listened. And trust me, almost nobody does this. Which means when you do, you immediately stand out. Okay, so let's simplify everything. 1, stop trying to network, start trying to connect. 2, go where interesting people already are. 3, ask better questions. 4, actually listen. 5, make people feel understood. That's the real secret. I spent years feeling like I didn't belong in certain rooms. Now I understand something completely different. Most rooms aren't locked. Most people are simply too afraid to walk in. And trust me, one conversation can change your life forever. One room, one relationship, one introduction. That's all it takes. So come on this journey with me and I'll teach you guys what you need to know. Guys, like, comment, subscribe.